This is Delusions of Grandeur, a podcast. Welcome. Meet Dylan Llewelyncurry, Davis local, and the banquet chef at Macero Country Club.
So, we talked about this pasta food truck.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to take notes as well. And then you were saying you could make, you could do 8 orders at a time, right? If you had it all set up the way you wanted.
Yeah, well, 8 separate orders. So I'd say there's modifications on one. You could do 8 entirely separate orders from each other.
Okay.
If you have, 2 people getting the same pasta, you could do 9 orders essentially because you have 8 spaces to create orders.
Okay. And so, you could have, a big pan. How many orders could you do in one pan?
It just depends on the modifications. So, let's say someone wants, a bolognese, right? And then someone wants an Alfredo, someone wants a carbonara. That's going to take up at least 3 pans.
Mm-hmm.
But if 2 people want a bolognese, it's still 3 pans. You can just do more in one pan.
Well, let's say the 3 people want bolognese. Could you still do that in one pan? Or it's 2?
As long as you have a big enough pan.
Okay. Well, what's the top out on the...
Per pan?
Yeah, per pan.
That would vary according to your serving size. But you could at least do 4.
4.
Because you can get a pan
So it's a theoretical maximum of 32 orders.
Yeah, I mean, it gets tricky when you get certain space, right? According to, let's say this is your stovetop, your actual stove, this is the burner, the flame coming up, and you have a pan.
Mm-hmm.
And, the size of that pan is going to regulate how much you can serve someone at once.
Of course.
And so, you would pan, and then pan, so on.
You're picturing a place with 8 burners, perhaps side by side.
Yeah.
Not front and back.
Or front and back, either or. It'd probably be front and back for most stoves. But that space, so you still have a finite amount of space. Let's say this is how big your stovetop is. So you have a big pan like this and a big pan like this. It's going to get harder to squeeze the other pans into that space.
Mm-hmm.
Not if you're using a small pan, but the bigger the pan, the less space you have.
Right, because I've noticed sometimes at El Macero, the burners, right, if you have a big enough pan, you're kind of edging out the other burners.
Yeah.
So they need to be appropriately spaced as well.
Yeah, but so then a counter to that would just be rotating pans.
Okay.
It's just so that way you have one pan that's not getting as much heat because it's pushed off to the side more. Take that, switch it with the original one, and you, I won't say displace the heat distribution, but there's ways around it, but that's when it gets harder.
Of course.
Also, let's say you're doing, because personally I would want it to be fresh pasta.
Right, fresh.
But the production of fresh pasta is more time consuming, obviously, than just buying it
Right.
dried or pre-made, but it's just not as...
Well, and that's a good selling point, too, for advertising. Almost all pasta that's sold is not going to be fresh.
Yeah, most times it's
You know?
You can tell. Once you have fresh pasta a lot, you're like, oh, it's dried pasta.
Right. Exactly. So, as far as advertising goes, that's a great selling point. But like
Absolutely.
you said, time consuming.
Yeah.
How long would it take you, let's say, I'm trying to think. How much pasta could you make at once, and how long would that take you?
So if you have are we talking from bare hands?
However you're picturing it. When you say fresh pasta, what do you mean? And how can you get there?
So basically you need to make a dough, which means mixing. So if you have a big mixer, you could create a really big batch. You could also do it by hand. It just takes longer.
Even longer, right?
Yeah.
And at a certain point, time comes into it,
Yeah. But if you can mix the dough together, you still have to take it out of that mixer. So you need a table space where you can knead the dough, because it just needs that knead, so to say, to properly go and let it rise. But theoretically, you could make 20 pounds of fresh dough within an hour and a half.
Okay.
2 hours, because you have to let it sit and rest.
And how many orders can you make out of 20 pounds?
Oh, we serve an average of 7 ounces of pasta per order.
So
and there's 16?
40, probably 50 orders.
I'm terrible at math, but 16 ounces.
16 ounces, right? So 14 is 2, right? So then there's 2 left over.
So roughly, yeah. And and that's just. I mean, but so ultimately, your longest process, if you have something to mix it for you as opposed to mixing it by hand, your longest process is letting it sit.
Right.
And
Rise.
Yeah. So it doesn't rise like pizza dough, but it gets kind of like softer. Like the yeast comes alive. It works its magic.
You need to let it grow.
Yeah, but so your first batch might take an hour and a half to 2 hours, but your second batch would finish, 30 minutes after the first batch.
Why?
Because it's the rising process.
Oh, so you're working off the same yeast?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or you didn't even add yeast. You just use the natural yeast in the air and in the flour, or the yeast in the air and the flour, the sugars in the flour to actually activate it.
I'm still confused over like why the first one, the second one's taking a third the time, right?
Because so let's say it takes 30 minutes to actually make the dough, but then you have to let it sit for. You have to let it sit. Right?
So is it that the fact that you're taking this sitted dough and then you're gonna like just take that and then expand it into 3? Is that what's happening?
No. So the longest process of making the dough is letting it rise.
Right.
Is letting the yeast come involved. So,
but don't you have to do that for the second and third?
Yeah,
ones?
but let's say it only takes you 30 minutes to actually get the dough to a point where it has to rise, right? So you're gonna finish that batch, and then
Oh, I see.
yeah. So it's that rising period.
Okay.
Because once it's
Because you can rise multiple batches concurrently.
Yeah,
That's
so-
what you're saying.
Yeah,
Okay.
basically. So like it's just that mixing process.
And
It takes you 30 minutes to do it.
How long would let's see? So you have 20 pounds, and that's gonna last like 50 orders, which should probably be, I don't know, like so at El Macero, right, on a busy night, how many tickets are there? And the food truck's not gonna be doing El Macero type.
No.
nights.
Ideally, you could get more customers through a food truck.
Really?
Because you don't have a limited capacity of space for people to sit at.
And you can also drive around once you've exhausted a certain location.
Yeah, and you go to like a festival or an event or something.
Obviously,
There's just a shit ton of people.
it could be like focused around events. Yeah,
Yeah, that's actually
a lot of food trucks do that.
it's like a food truck circuit or something.
Do you have to pay to get into these like a place to park your truck type thing? How does that work?
So you need permission from the property owner.
And however you go about getting that.
Yeah.
Right, because sometimes the prospect of a food truck might just be enough. Right, they're like, oh, there's gonna be food at the event.
Yeah.
Maybe they don't have to charge you as well.
Or people will call and hire you.
Right.
In which case, they're not going to be like, also, we're going to charge you to sit here.
So say they call and hire you, are you charging a fee from them in addition to the fee for the food?
I wouldn't.
You wouldn't?
No, I would. I mean,
But that's like a possible
yeah.
idea.
I mean, I don't see why you couldn't do that, but I would just charge them for the food.
Yeah.
And a lot of times when someone hires you,
I mean, it depends on how in demand you are. Like,
Yeah.
if your business is like, if everyone wants to eat this place because the pasta's so great, and then you're getting calls from multiple occasions, then you can have some sort of.
yeah, like if I was going to lose money, I guess, to do an event, like let's say, like how El Macero will hire a food truck for the Christmas dinner.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so for Christmas dinner, generally they hire a food truck
Christmas dinner, is that
or a Christmas party.
Christmas party?
Yeah.
Okay, because they don't want the staff to be cooking; they want them to do that.
Yeah, and also we do it at Subworks at least the past 2 years.
Oh, really?
So they rent out a room in Subworks, and it's
Dang.
all you can eat and drink pretty
I
much.
don't think I was invited last year, Dylan.
Were you working there Christmas last year?
I think I started like a week before.
Because generally
I started in December sometime, but I don't
Yeah.
think I started after Christmas. I'm pretty sure it was just before.
so they throw it before Christmas, but I want to say it's usually like mid-December.
Okay, in that case, I probably started like right after it happened.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they'll do it this year because of the pandemic.
Right.
I mean, I don't see why they wouldn't.
It's still a staff party, and like
Yeah,
the staff
like we
all
all go
works
work
together.
Yeah, I don't see why they wouldn't.
But it also makes sense that they're like, oh, this is an extra expense that we can easily explain away.
You're like, yeah, no, let's not spend that on the staff this year.
Of course. So, you said you had already like crunched the numbers on this idea. You needed something like 100,000, right?
Well, so 100,000 can get you the food truck and the product and like gasoline and everything you need. Granted, you could always the more you spend, the more you're gonna get. But
Of course.
with the right food truck, which sometimes you might have to wait like a month or two to actually get the right food truck. Because like there's some food trucks that cost you like over 100,000. Food trucks that cost like 60,000, 80,000.
Just something you gotta like kind of be aware of the market on, and just see what's available.
Unless you're gonna have someone build it themselves, which.
So you're kind of more looking at buying like an already established food truck with the burners and the table space and the mixer.
Yeah, as opposed to, but it's like finding the right one.
Right.
You know, like I don't need a 24-inch flat top. I'm gonna be selling a bunch of pasta.
So I'll kind of put that like $100,000 pre-built. Okay.
Yeah, and like I don't know the actual cost of having someone build it yourself.
I'm sure. Like I couldn't imagine it's much more than that though.
Yeah,
right.
Because
like we were just talking about like assembling a Sprinter van and
Yeah.
like remodding the whole thing, and like I don't think they spend more than 100,000. It's possible some do.
Yeah, because there's this guy that used to work
Food's
at
different.
Macero really quick. His name was Edgar. He was from Argentina, but he moved to New York. And from New York, he came here. And he built food trucks. And I can't remember. He told me he sold them.
He still does this.
Yeah. He lives out in Sacramento somewhere. His.
Have you spoken to him?
Oh, God, not since he quit.
Was there some controversy over his dismissal, his leaving?
Yeah. So, we reopened after the remodel. And it must have been like, and we were like slammed, like busy as flying fuck, because we were closed. I mean, we served out of the breezeway, but we were closed for most of, I don't know, 6 months.
Really? Damn.
Yeah.
So what were you?
I was working in the snack bar with
the
a
snack
sous
bar.
chef, and we were serving food out of there as a different menu.
But like still a pretty good sized menu over there.
Yeah, the product quality, like, so a lot
It
of people
goes down a
stopped.
little bit,
Yeah, a lot of
but
people stopped coming because
Snack bar is still pretty busy right now.
Yeah,
to get some
this
orders.
whole reopening has actually stolen a lot of business from them recently.
Oh yeah, but like they're still like I don't know,
Yeah.
they're still doing pretty decently. And I imagine with the sous chef, like, because you said right now you're going over the snack bar, you're not like as inspired to like create and like do like
Yeah.
fun. But like I imagine if you're with the sous chef over there, you guys are kind of collaborating on trying to get business.
Yeah, so
you
at
know?
the time, he was the biggest influence. He's actually the one that trained, I mean, him and the other sous chef prior to him, the one who passed away, trained me more than anyone else at all. Even though I've worked with chef longer, I learned more from them, hands down.
It's strange how like you'll work with people who you feel like should be teaching you a certain way, and then you
Yeah.
just kind of meet someone and they are actually.
Yeah.
It all requires someone taking that effort.
They're dried, and garbanzo beans is what you use to make hummus. And I've pitched this idea to him 3 times, literally 3 times, of doing black hummus
Right.
with a red pepper coulis being like a red sauce.
I don't know. You've been
And-
working. Oh, the coulis, not the raspberry, but yeah.
Yeah, but so it's the same idea, except you just add other ingredients, and instead of using sugars, you use like wine and savory components to, or maybe not savory, but other components instead of
The coulis like kind of like the drizzle, right?
Yeah.
That you put on top of the cheesecake.
Yeah,
So okay,
So-
you're saying the process of making is the same, and it's still called the same thing.
Yeah, so
even
a
though it's
coulis-
savory instead of sweet.
yeah. Coulis is in reference to being, so generally it's like a fruit spread or a fruit sauce, but it's just as well vegetables.
Okay.
But so instead of sweetening it, you just, I mean, because of purposes, just don't add sugar. You know, you use wine instead of lemon juice. You know, for acidic reasons, and you just reduce it, and blend it.
So what's stopping you from just doing it? You know, like, are you
I have
afraid
to
of
order-
blow black?
No, well, I have to order
Blow
in
back, blow black.
garbanzo beans, and
How expensive? Are they very expensive? Are they like noticeably expensive?
no, but he is. Yeah. So on top of all of that, I have to sell them.
Right, and you're not sure it'll sell. Is that the thing?
Well,
Can you market
not
it as
entirely.
like a special, like black garbanzo hummus special, fresh house made? Something
Yeah,
like
but
that?
it wouldn't. We wouldn't.
I'm not good with
Maybe
the-
on like a pizza.
On a-
'Cause-
really?
Well, because we
Hummus
have
on pizza.
Oh yeah, you should try it. It's fantastic. But so we already have hummus on the menu,
Right.
and I can't replace his hummus that he orders.
His hummus. You
And-
mean the Cisco hummus?
Yeah,
right?
that still annoys the fuck out of me.
We originally were planning on making it
We
in-house.
used to make it. This is the first time we've ever started buying hummus.
Well, I remember like when the new menu came out, people were talking about like, and I think even one was made, and
yeah,
then
I think the first one we made in
Right.
house because
and then they decided too time consuming, too expensive, whatever.
yeah.
But like that reminds me, at least this situation reminds me of like recently I was talking to Josh about the special idea for the buffalo chicken, not the
Oh yeah,
roast.
the whole, he's like, I swear to God, because he's from New York, he's like putting ranch on buffalo sauce.
But I was talking to him about it, right? And I was saying, because I like I told you before, I'd made the other pastrami special, which I thought tasted better, but it didn't sell at all. The staff who tried it, they said it was great, but you can't. It just has basic ingredients. You know, it's like lettuce, tomato, onion, pickle, pastrami. You know, whatever cheese I'd put on there.
Mm-hmm.
I also put Dijon. It was great. It was fucking amazing. Did not sell. Still mad. Anyway, so the
It goes
buffalo
that way
chicken.
sometimes.
And I talked to another friend of mine who's worked in like a similar country club type position. He's got like a very large stick up his ass about it. But the top country club in fucking California. Blah, blah. Anyway,
I don't know what it is.
yeah, he's like he was telling me, he's like, it doesn't sound special, right? And so that kind of, I was thinking about this buffalo chicken, and I was gonna put the regular crumbles on there, but I remember we used to get the Point Reyes Blue, so I was looking for it. Ended up talking to Josh about it, and I ended up talking to Chef about it, and Chef's like, no, we can't get that. It's like too expensive. We'll never sell it.
Point Reyes Blue.
Well, see, that's the thing. Josh had overheard me talking about it. He put it on his list and bought it for me.
We normally order it anyway.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd asked Chef about it, and he's like, "There's no way, we'll never get it." And then, after, I don't know if Josh had even heard that conversation, but 10 minutes after that, he's like, Josh, like, "Yo, I put on the list for you. It's cool." And then we sold some. And I don't know if we would have sold those without that Point Reyes flair on the menu.
The selling part. Mm-hmm.
Right? Yeah. Like you need a reason to buy it. Like I don't know. Buffalo chicken still brings people, but if you go buffalo chicken with Point Reyes Blue, I don't know.
So Point Reyes also makes our toma cheese. So Point Reyes is it's a location,
Right.
right? It's like getting wine from Napa.
I went there
Sounds
for
like a
a
selling
nature
point.
thing, but yeah, it just sounds fancy.
Yeah.
Point Reyes Blue. It sounds like a name. It sounds like a place.
Mhm.
Like Point
And
Reyes
it's-
Toma. I don't know if Point Reyes Toma rolls off the tongue as well, but it still sounds like
It's
a serious.
the Point Reyes.
Yeah.
That's the selling point.
Exactly.
I mean,
it could even be bad. Like I don't even know where Point Reyes ranks in the scale of blue cheese makers.
it's decent. It's not bad, but it's decent. I mean, the top, actually, California, was it this year or last year? Probably last year. Just was awarded best blue cheese in the world in a place.
But California was.
Yeah.
Okay.
For the first time, they beat the French at their own game for the first. I mean, since since
First
wine.
it was wine, then it was
Yeah,
blue
and
cheese.
it's God, where is it? It's not Napa. It's more coastal.
Yeah, it sounds like if Point Reyes is good, it sounds like it has to be coastal. Like something about the saltiness. I don't know.
Yeah, I want to say it was not Marin, not Novato, but it was somewhere over there. But yeah, no. So actually, they just won last year best blue cheese in the world.
Which is nice. That's sick.
Yeah,
Have
I
you
mean,
talked
California,
to...
happy cows live in
Right.
California.
Exactly.
You
It's
know?
a very good
Cheese comes
very
from
good area.
cows.
You know? And that's why French is famous. They have the same kind of agricultural
Yeah.
like
Same with parts of Spain.
Yeah.
Like northern Spain.
formal flood area, you
It's
know.
very similar to.
I forget the area in Spain, but it's fuck, I'm gonna forget the guy. There's an author who writes about it all the time. You know the guy who wrote The Old Man in the Sea and From Whom the Bell Tolls?
Yeah,
Is it
yeah, yeah.
Steinbeck?
No,
It's not Steinbeck, but
it's his fucking name.
yeah, see, I know you like this kind of literature.
Yeah,
as
so
well.
I read For Whom the Bell Tolls, and then
Yeah.
I read
I read-
the other one about World War One, where he's a fucking ambulance driver.
Oh, I
'cause
haven't
he was
read that
back-
one.
He was
So have you
actually-
read The Old Man in the Sea?
No.
Oh, you need to read that.
I've only
It's a
read From
short
the Bell
story.
Tolls and-
It's great, and I think it's better than From Whom the Bell Tolls. Well, that one's great too. Like just the romance and the way he speaks about the bullfighting, just abhorrent thing.
Mhm.
And he's just he makes it sound so cool.
Yeah.
He makes it sound so spiritual. So, the way he writes is great. He's a famous alcoholic. He died of a liver
I am
whiskey,
sure.
whatever.
Yeah, yeah. What's his fucking name?
Yeah, exactly. It's gonna bother me all day, and I forget what the original point was even. But
writing about the.
he writes about the agricultural area in Spain because that's where the book from
Yeah.
the
I
Bell
don't remember if
Tolls.
is it Basque Country?
Yeah, I think it might be.
BASQUE.
But yeah, there's like you were saying, similar area in Spain.
Yeah, we get
And-
temperatures and climates, rainfall
Exactly.
and everything. Yeah.
What does Steinbeck write?
Um.
Is that Grapes of Wrath? Dude?
Yeah, I think it is.
And there's another one that I'm forgetting. Yeah. All right. Cool.
I'm pretty sure Steinbeck's Grapes of Wrath. God, what is that fucking guy's
Yeah, exactly. It's gonna bother me.
Yeah, it's gonna annoy me so much.
Um,
Because he was in that, and I can't remember the other book that I read by him, but he was an actual ambulance driver during World War One, and then he wrote a book.
him and the fucking Queen of England.
Yeah, loosely based off of. I think it was just based off of World War One and being an ambulance driver. And
It was a well-written book. You like it? Do you remember the name of that book?
Oh, I can't remember the name of the book. If I remember the name of the book, I'll remember the fucking author, but I can't.
For sure. I'll look it up when I get home. I'll send it to you.
You guys gonna drive me insane. God, what's his fucking name?
Oh yeah, so back to the food truck. So like actually I had some notes written down as well. But the other thing that I was thinking about is like just the nature of your current work would almost make it like if you were to jump on this, like somehow you just had a bunch of money or whatever, like it would almost require you to drop the El Macero position, right? Unless
I absolutely would.
Right.
Because the way I look at starting my own business is the labor that I'm doing. There's no price to it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm not thinking like, oh, I'm making.
It's
this
all
much
for
an
you.
Hour. Yeah, it's like whether I spend 20 hours getting this already.
And the tax benefits are insane.
Yeah, it's like as long as I can feed myself and pay my rent.
Right.
It doesn't matter what I'm doing for that time if this is what I want to do. If this is like how I'm going to pursue that. There's no measure to.
If you have profits, instead of saving them, I've been reading this book recently. You just reinvest them in the business, and you don't get taxed on those profits anymore. It's insane. Like if you just like, oh, I have an extra $1,000, I'll get this new fucking fancy mixer. Boom, like that is suddenly a business expense
as opposed to being a profit that you'd pay tax.
Exactly.
On. Okay.
So like it's now a credit. You can be like, oh, I spent all this money on improving my business. Now it can help you out in other ways. It's there's a lot of like loopholes like that, which is why like a lot of people like the business aspect.
Yeah, and also working for yourself.
Right. And so, but here's the thing. So a business owner, right, if they know what they're doing, they're paying less in taxes than you are. Right now.
That sounds about right.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm not saying
because like look at us. We're working like you're making a little bit more than I am, but we're basically working for minimum wage, right?
Yeah.
And like then there's people who maybe are making a lot of money. They just know how to reinvest it correctly. They know how to log basically
get write-offs.
Right, exactly. So basically what you want to do is anytime you spend any amount of money that's in any way can be connected to your business, like say this, right? This is like a business lunch discussion, right?
Yeah.
And now this is now a business expense. This is not like it counts against your profits.
Yeah.
This is like fucking $30. It's now no longer you're being taxed on. It's like, oh, we're taking this away from his profits, So it's things like that, which is why a lot of business people are very interested in cataloging their receipts and such.
I know that's interesting.
I can't find this. I'll actually I can't lend you the book because it's Noah's book. If you remember Noah from the snack bar, he got that.
He's doing real estate.
That cushy real estate job, feeling very nice for himself.
Yeah, everyone I know that's gone into real estate, as long as they make it in real estate, do good.
Mm-hmm. No, I think he'll do really good. He said the work is not like exactly what he wants, but he sees how it's setting himself up for the future.
Yeah.
A lot of the higher ups in this company, like they actually have personal investment in the properties that they are managing. Mm-hmm. So like he's like, he can see himself here for a long time if he ends up in that type of position where he's all of a sudden like personally invested in it as opposed to just getting paid.
Yeah.
Let's see.
My grandfather owned fucking 12 houses.
Yeah. See what happened to that.
Yeah, my grandma sold them. He died, and they all got sold.
No, I guess I didn't have any super interesting notes. I was just scribbles. I think I'd mentioned this before, but I like the idea of like a single item menu. Right?
Yeah. So you mentioned that, but the only thing I see on that a negative aspect is like, so one, variety is always good, but not too much variety. But if it doesn't sell,
then you have leftover ingredients, right? And then you can reinvest this in the next item. / you could have backup items based on your old inventory. So you have like one main item that you're pushing, and then if people want another option, you have your old inventory, which you're now trying to sell. You can sell at a discount or whatever. But like the main thing is, like we were saying before, not having so many options that you're drowning under your own inventory, right? Yeah. So like if you're just pushing one thing and then you're selling perhaps a similar thing to reuse some of that inventory that didn't get sold, you can, I think at least, you should be able to like spin it correctly. It's all like, I think the main thing is like this idea is great. The main thing is the initial investment, which is
and a customer base.
And the customer base. But
so instead of just doing one single item, I think you have more possibility of doing like three.
See, 3 is good, but I like the number being small.
Yeah, because that way. So let's say you have A, B, and C, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's say A doesn't sell, B kind of sells and C sells like a motherfucker. So then the next day you go A, B, and C again. You have the product up instead of just one item. You have the product of 3 items to create, some D, E, F, or
Yeah, and at this
whatever.
point, you can tweak C that's not selling into like something that maybe will sell.
Yeah, and it gives you more flexibility because like let's say I'm gonna sell asparagus soup. Asparagus soup doesn't sell, and so hopefully you didn't blend up all your asparagus, and you can sell that asparagus as a puree with something, or you can sell that asparagus as an actual veg or a side to something, or
Exactly.
you can fucking turn that shit into ice cream if you really wanted to. But
The thing that excites me about this idea is like I see a lot of food trucks. I don't see pasta food trucks. I don't know if I've ever bought pasta out of a food truck.
yeah, no, and that's why
You know?
one of my old that's why he said
Right.
that was because he's like,
People like pasta,
yeah,
and you know how to do
Pasta's
it well.
quick. With fresh pasta, it takes
right.
like fucking 3 minutes to cook
Exactly.
fresh pasta.
Oh, actually, this is part of what I was saying before. So fresh pasta, like let's say you make a big batch, but you don't sell it all one day. How long does it last for before it's now
I would give it 4 to 5 days.
4 to 5 days? And
Yeah,
at the
you
end of
might-
those 4 or 5 days, could you then dry it and sell it as like unfresh pasta for like a discount?
I would dry it after like 3 days.
Dry it after 3?
Yeah, because the 4th day, you're gonna start to smell that slight ferment, and it's very subtle. But the 5th day, it'll be noticeable, and like by the 6th day, you'll be able to taste it. But if you dry it on the 3rd day, it'll still be
Because it could be
it won't have
sold
any,
like potentially, right. It could be sold, I think, potentially as like how like donut shops they do like day old donuts, right?
Yeah.
So if you want if this is stuff that we think is gonna throw away anyway, you can market it as I don't know if you say day old or 3 day old. 3 days is kind of a mouthful.
Yeah, I would say
But,
dried pasta.
Yeah, just dried
And you
instead
can
of
even
fresh.
sell that to restaurants.
Exactly.
You know,
Right. Yeah. So it could be like, just imagine that.
fresh local made pasta.
Imagine that like spinning off. Like I don't know if I mentioned this to you before, but a lot of businesses, what they do is they have this original idea, they pursue it 100%, and then most of these businesses that are successful, they've pivoted several times.
Yeah,
If
according to what it
right,
works and
what the market, right?
and
So like,
opportunity that arises during that.
right. So like this pasta food truck could take off, could be amazing. Then all of a sudden there's another big event like a pandemic, recession, whatever. And in order to stay in business, you need to pivot. And
Yeah.
so like you're saying, if you are making fresh local pasta and you have a way to do it at a cheaper alternative, or like at least a cost-effective one for another restaurant or somewhere to buy it from you, that is a great pivot, or potentially just a side thing that could also benefit the business.
Yeah, and then you could go both ways, and increase your quantity that you're making your pasta, and you're suddenly selling. I mean, you could even sell fresh pasta to places as well.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like
I don't know, like you don't have to crunch the numbers, like
Yeah.
how cost-effective, how much money can you make making pasta solely?
so.
Because in my mind, that's something that like you would need like a big industrial plant to like make any kind of profit margin on to get the cost down.
Well, I mean, it depends how much work you're willing to do.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I mean, ultimately, a bag of, and it also depends on your sources of flour and how much your flour costs. But we can get a bag of semolina flour, which is what I would make.
You would make it as semolina.
Yeah, out of semolina.
I don't know how to spell semolina.
Semonila, semolina. That might be slightly wrong. If you type
Linoa.
Semolina.
Semolina.
Yeah.
Yeah. And how much could you get that for?
And so you can get 25 pounds for about 26. So let's just round it to 27. It's 26 with some change. And so that's pretty much paying a pound $1, roughly.
And how much pasta could you make out of that? And do you need anything else besides like salt and water or yeast? Eggs.
You don't need yeast. All you need is water. Not very much, but it's almost like 95% eggs and flour. And so I want to say how many cups is it? It's not a quart. Maybe 3 cups of flour is, I want to say, 4 to 5 eggs, and that will make you maybe like 8 orders.
8 orders off 25 pounds.
No. Off of 3 cups, which is
Oh,
probably
3 cups, which is
That might not even be a pound.
So
the
this-
flour is so light and fluffy.
This 25 pounds is gonna last a long time.
Yeah,
Right?
I mean, I bought 25 pounds of semolina flour at work so long ago. Granted, we don't really use it. For
We don't. Yeah, we
anything.
don't make the pasta, right?
Yeah,
Right
but-
now, it's just being used to make the pizza slide in
yeah.
well,
And then
which I think
once
was
in a-
Roman's original idea. that
Yes, I think so.
later was recycled.
Yeah.
Chef
he
got
also,
mad about it.
He also took that idea from, I believe, the book that he took from.
Yeah, I've been worried about I've been taking a lot of grapes for lunch. I don't know what you guys use the grapes for, but
just fruit salads.
Yeah, fruit salads. You guys don't make a lot of them, right?
At night.
Do you actually?
We make them probably like twice a week.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah,
it's probably the same in the morning too. That's good, actually.
Yeah.
So yeah, keep buying those because I think I'm eating more than the customers at this
Yeah,
point.
no, that's fine. And grapes are actually one of the cheapest things that we can buy.
Oh, really? Yeah, that's great. Okay.
Yeah, I just bag is super cheap.
I've been really happy just getting some fresh fruit with my meals. I'll make a chicken sandwich and then an apple, or it's been bananas this week because there was a bunch left from the event.
Yeah.
And I know that last time they were just browning, and I was like, okay, I
that
can eat
happens
these
all
in
the
the
time
future.
with bananas, especially when we buy that much.
Right.
But so in terms of so let's just say 25 pounds.
Yeah, 25
right?
pounds.
For
right?
$26.
$27, right?
Yeah, and then so let's just pretend that you're not adding any weight to it. Right?
Let's max out this. So if we talk about 25 pounds, how many eggs do you need to maximize this pasta, to fully utilize it?
Yeah, see, so I can't remember the weight that'll get you.
What is cups to pounds? Is that what you're asking?
No.
Okay.
What is? So what is 3 cups of flour? Of semolina flour, how much does that weigh?
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea. But on terms of, let's just say 25 pounds, and you don't add any weight to it, which I'll bet your weight's gonna double, if not more, when you make the pasta. 25 pounds. Let's just times that by 2. Let's say you can get 50 orders out of 25 pounds. You paid $26 for it. You charge $6 for that. That's profit after 4 or 5 orders.
Right.
Just
And
there.
the other thing you have to pay for sauce and vegetables and meat potentially.
But off the pasta just itself.
Just imagine you made a pasta pastas without meat, because honestly meat, it takes a lot of I don't know how sustainable it is. People like meat, but meat is a lot of storage and cleaning, especially if you're only working.
It's also expensive.
Right.
We make more money off of our vegetables and our starch than we do our meats.
Really?
Yeah, hands down.
I think people like meat, but the thing with pasta is a lot of people, especially you can market it as vegetarian,
or you can go with cheap cuts of meat. A lot of French classical cooking comes down to leftovers of what people have. So you're not buying a filet mignon and putting it on a pasta. You would never. I guess you could, and it would taste bomb, but there's no point. It's a
of
waste.
course. You're more tasting the sauce. You're not trying to taste the meat as much.
Yeah, you'd go with your cheaper cuts and the cheap, literally the cheapest cuts you can get.
Right.
And that's a bolognese is basically a tomato sauce with beef in it.
So let me ask you this: how comfortable are you with making when you work with pasta? Your favorite pasta sauces to make, are a lot of them cheese based or?
With me personally, I would go cream based.
Cream
on the safer side, but I add cheese to all my pastas.
Right.
And then there's always, you can use a carbonara is egg, but there's still cheese. And meat inside of it, but the sauce itself is egg. There's tomato sauces.
What I was thinking of is a lot of people, especially the trend right now, this vegan thing. How comfortable are you with working with vegan sauces?
So
that'd be more tomato based, right?
Oh, immediately it's straight to tomato.
I don't know what else you could do with sauces. Pesto is pretty vegan as well.
Yeah, there's the cheese in it.
Is it in the sauce as well?
And the Parmesan, yeah.
Oh
Parmesan.
shit. Okay. Yeah, I don't know.
But so. There's a classic.
It could be
a classic Italian dish. It's just, I guess there's still cheese.
It could be a special. Say you do the
so there's olive oil.
Food truck 7 days a week. You have a Thursday vegan day or something like that, and then you have this one special sauce, or because the pasta's already vegan, right?
Yeah.
Or as you said, there's eggs in the pasta.
There's eggs in the pasta, but you can make vegan pasta. I forget how they do it.
I wonder how it tastes. I think his vegan food just tastes terrible.
Yeah, I think it's the consistency is not as good because the eggs act as kind of a good binder.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to say they substitute the eggs for. Fuck, I can't remember what.
It's definitely very easy to do a vegetarian pasta.
Most pastas that I eat personally are vegetarian. It's not that I'm a vegetarian.
Exactly. And that, I was saying before, taking care of the meat, keeping it to temp, and you need these coolers, you need all these things, right? Whereas taking care of eggs a little bit easier, the shells and such. You don't have to be worried about cross contamination as much.
Yeah. Eggs will last you longer than any kind of meat you're going to buy.
I think working with primarily vegetarian could be beneficial, and then once in a while, I was saying, perhaps experiment with vegan or meat options as well, just to see what the selling rate is, see if people are buying more meat-based, more vegan, like,
Yeah, and also
just kind of experiments.
This would also, I think, go into, like, geographically where you're going to try and sell something, you know?
Now, we're in California, right?
Yeah, like, you go to, like, San Francisco,
Right.
but you can get, like, a hell of a lot more vegan orders.
Oh,
than
definitely.
If you go to, like, Woodland. You know,
Yes.
Woodland, you have a different population, Hispanic population. Probably not very big on pasta, but they're probably more likely to order meat inside their pasta as opposed to, like, vegan.
Right.
You know, just
I think,
demographics.
in my mind, I was picturing a food truck in Sacramento just because it's a pretty good hub.
That's
and it's
exactly
very
where-
close, you know? And definitely very drivable, 20 minutes away.
Yeah, you just got to get permission for, like, locations.
Right. Like, I don't really know I'm not big into Sacramento. I've been there several times. I go there for various events, but I'm not, like, a local in Sacramento. Like, in Davis, I could tell you, like, oh, this is a good spot. You could park here, farmer's market, this time. You could go, there's an event here. Go there. I know what's happening in
first you need
Davis.
Other than the food truck, the other cost, like the actual
Permits
product
and
cost
such.
is the permit cost. Yeah, there's a license or whatever the proper term is.
And you need inspection, right?
Yeah.
Permits, inspection, pasta food. I wonder if you need a different driver's license to drive a food truck, right? Is it a Class C still?
Probably not. Oh no, I imagine it's like a moving truck.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know either. Because it's not quite semi-truck, fire truck, right?
Right.
But I feel like it's a big moving truck.
It is big.
Yeah.
That's a thing.
Because for a moving truck, you don't need another license. Like every time I rent a U-Haul, they're like, Class C, cool, good to go.
Yeah, you're probably right. I wonder what the cutoff is. Like, did you have to actually be driving? Is it number of wheels, perhaps? Like,
Yeah, maybe
4
it's just,
wheels
like,
versus 6 or
literal
8.
size or weight or something. I don't know.
I mean, food truck's pretty standard size. Usually just 4 wheels.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder if you could talk to this guy Edgar and just kind of inquire like what his prices are, like
Yeah.
things
His
like that.
sister. Oh, what was his sister's name? Not Naomi. Yeah, I can get a hold of. Yeah, one way or another, I could.
Right.
Because his sister worked at El Macero longer than he did, and she worked down in the snack bar with Shannon, and she and Shannon are really close friends, and she actually runs a food truck now that he made.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
What's the what do they do? What do they sell?
I'll say it's tacos, mostly Mexican
Nice.
style food, even though
Very cool.
they're Iranian, but they grew up in Argentina.
I think part of the idea for this single item idea that I had was there was this like legend about this disgruntled former kitchen line cook or whatever, and he had one thing on his menu on his food truck. It's just a grilled cheese. It's like sourdough, cheddar,
There's profit to be made out of grilled
and
cheese.
butter, and that's it. And then he's had like a long list of like fuck you basically to like any of your modifications. Like you get this or you leave. This is the price. That's it. I like that.
Yeah, because
that
there's
attitude.
actually who was I talking to? I think my buddy Phil met some guy who was doing grilled cheese out of a food truck.
Just
He-
grilled cheese.
Yeah, and he was selling them for like. I mean, maybe there's other things on the menu.
People
but
like grilled cheese. You can do grilled cheese in quesadillas.
Yeah,
you know.
he was selling them for like $4 or something, $3 a pop. But he was just making like 50%
Bang.
profit on every single
Yeah.
one because when you buy in quantity,
Bread, cheese,
butter,
you know,
the heat element,
butter,
you know, you just
little flat top.
yeah, he was just making. The profit wise was just making so much more money. Also, I think it was like a festival or something. But
Yeah, event based I think might be the way to go, rather than just
Yeah.
like driving around town trying to
the-
like do some ice cream truck type shit.
yeah, I feel like they're going to charge
Guaranteed
you.
people.
Yeah, but
you can
so-
you can charge more. People are used to spending exorbitant amounts at festivals and events.
I
They
feel like the event themselves are going to charge you
to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they know you can charge a lot. I swear, man. I don't know if I ever told you this. I was at this festival once and I tried to find water. And they were charging $6 per bottle. And I was just cursing at them. There were other things involved, but I ended up wandering around for 2 hours. I don't think I ever found water that wasn't $6. Jeez.
Yeah, that's funny. It's like, where was the guy with $4 water? You know, would have made a killing because everyone else would have bought it.
I wonder if it's price controlled. Like they tell you can't sell water for under $6. You know?
I don't know. I wouldn't be that surprised.
Well,
But
yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, you can definitely buy bottled water for like 50 cents a bottle. Like if you get, and probably even cheaper. Like I'm just picturing like 30 cent, like 30 packs of like that big, you know, Costco, whatever.
Yeah.
That doesn't cost more than like, you know, $12 or whatever.
Yeah, so through Cisco, we order I think it's 24 pack of water, and it costs like $7.
Yeah, exactly. So that's
$7 for a 24 pack.
So you're already, if you're selling it for $1, you're making 4 times.
Yeah, already.
And if you're selling it for $3,
Yeah. You sell it for $6.
And that's a great thing about charging people for essential life functions like water. Is they're gonna buy it. They have no choice. They need it to survive. It's, it's one of those things. Like the reason why people are pissed off at Nestle for going into people's ancestral lands or whatever in Africa, and they're privatizing the water. Yeah, not a human right. And so they go in there to
no one has the right to water.
So what they do is they have these whoever the government is in those places, they buy a license or a permit from them, and they go, we control the source of water. Now the government's like, those are just poor people over there. Like, you can take their water. It's cool. And now the poor people who are only ever drinking out of this one water source now being charged an exorbitant amount of money to drink out of the same water course because their government fucked them over. Yeah. And also because Nestle's stupid. But yeah. Okay. So I think my goal here is to just kind of consolidate information, perhaps make it easier for an eventual whatever off of this.
Although also I would
it's obviously a big
suggest bread.
Bread?
Yeah. Pasta with bread.
Mm-hmm. I have the grilled cheese quesadilla and bread just kind of side. It's not the focus, but like we are saying, you're already going to be buying cheese, already going to be buying bread. I don't know. It's not the focus, but it's just still on
at that point, depending on the meats that you're using, you could even start to make sandwiches. But then you go into lettuce and tomato.
Right. It's a whole
I guess
thing.
a melt doesn't necessarily have lettuce and tomato.
You're already buying onions, you can put onions on the melt, veggies. You're already getting some veggies, and you can mess around. I don't know how broccoli on a sandwich would taste, but asparagus.
I don't know. Maybe you could turn it into a pesto.
Yeah.
Broccoli pesto.
But yeah, like I said, I'm just trying to consolidate information. Obviously, the main hurdle is just this $1,000 figure, which is definitely very scary. Big investment for a lot of people. I know you said you have some money saved up. I have some money saved up. I know people with some money saved up. It's gonna be hard convincing people. People are protective of their money. One thing that I was actually at this table, whenever I was here talking about the best burger in town. By the way, not the best burger in town, but he runs a smoke shop. And he was talking about how the whole place is owner operated. This cuts down on insurance liability, all this stuff. You don't have to. Right. So if everyone is a partner and all working together and working in the food truck / alongside it, you are going to save costs, basically. So if everyone is invested, now you're not paying them. You don't even have to pay them hourly. You just split profits or whatever.
It's also everyone's best interest to increase those profits.
Exactly. And then you'd have to get some paperwork drawn up. Because the biggest danger, this is something, I was talking about Rome, I told you I've been on this, creative kick, so I've just been talking to everyone about, let's start something, man. So I was talking to Roman, and he was, one of the first things he brought up was, I've been fucked over before, and, I need to have a way to pull my money out if things go bad, so, I
don't like to borrow money, but, sometimes shit happens.
Right.
But two,
as soon as I can, I pay it back.
Yeah, let's say I have to borrow money again someday. That person's not going to lend me more fucking money if I don't pay them back and promise them.
Of course.
That, if I borrow 20, I pay them back 25.
That's nice.
It's
very nice.
Best fucking interest.
Of course, and God forbid, there's one person who I do owe money to at this moment. I'm not proud of, but I have a reason for not paying them back. And this was because
it is what it is.
There was this girl, right? And it was right before I got this job at El Macero. I had no money. And we were seeing each other, and she ended up buying me dinner or something. I was like, I got this job coming through in a minute. I'll pay you back. And then, I got the job. There was, a blow-up in between where, she cut me off for a while. And we started seeing each other again. And she was like, let's get that dinner. And so, shortly thereafter, I showed up, 2 hours late for, some date.
Oh, you should have just not showed up at all at that point.
Yeah, it was the day my car got broken into, actually. And also, I couldn't get out of work to save my life. I was trying to get out on time, and I got out 45 minutes late. And then I had Johnny trapped in the parking lot. I was yelling at him. He still blames me because I forced him to turn on his broken vape and killed it forever. But I gave him some weed cartridges, and I was just ranting at him. And Johnny, he's a good friend, so he didn't drive off on me, but he's still like, I think he holds it against me a little bit. But yeah, so there's this day. And also I was like sweaty as shit coming from work. I thought I'd have like an hour in between and I had no time. Mm-hmm. And so I go to like, where did I go? Some place. It was Rite Aid. I went to Rite Aid, right? Because I was meeting her at World Market. I went to Rite Aid and I was like, let me get some like dry shampoo and like toothbrush and fucking moisturizing facial cleaner. Yeah, exactly. So it took me like an extra 30 minutes on top of that. So it was like 45 minutes after the fucking after work, and then like 30 minutes with Johnny, and then like another 30 minutes like getting cleaned up, and then I'm there. And like,
and she waited that long?
Oh yeah, she was pissed, and like she was like, hey, you need to explain this, and I was like, it's been a terrible day, and she like stormed off and blocked me on everything. And so she's like, she sends me a Venmo request for the money, and I was like, fuck you blocked me. So I blocked her on Venmo. But that's the only thing. Also I want to point out for the record, anybody, of the two people who eventually listen to this fucking recording, the deal was I was going to buy her dinner. She did not let me buy her dinner when she blocked me. I want that. I did not agree to pay her back with money. I agreed to pay her back with food, and she didn't give me the opportunity. So I do pay my debts. If she ever lets me buy her dinner, it's going to happen. But, I don't think it's going to happen, guys.
I don't think it's going to happen. I think the hour and a half late.
Oh, man, I love showing up late, dude. It's like my two greatest...
Oh, I know. I've seen it work.
Oh, my God. My two greatest weaknesses are time and attention. Like my attention, I think... I don't know if I've told you this, but I'm pretty sure I have some kind of ADD or something. So I've been trying, like for the longest time, I've been trying to get diagnosed, get like a doctor's appointment set up for this. Guess what? Miss all of those fucking appointments. So like the problem is self-actualizing and self-perpetuating. Like I cannot make the appointment to get there. Right, exactly. So like I swear I set this thing up like 5 times, and every time it's like, oh, it's been an hour or whatever, and I'm way late. So, we'll see how that goes. But, yeah, attention and time. And I think they're related also. Who knows? Maybe if I finally get this fucking, civilized person meth, I'll be able to...
Yeah, it's a lot harder to...
Or is it heroin? I don't know. It's like one carbon off, though, right? It's the same thing.
So it's not methamphetamine, it's amphetamine.
Yeah, it's amphetamine. Yeah, exactly. Not meth, right.
Yeah, so I diagnosed ADHD as a child.
Right.
And, I can see the symptoms throughout my life. And I've actually taken the medication before.
Did it help?
Yeah, absolutely.
Did it make you feel different?
Yeah. I mean, so the only you build a dependency on it, and that's the downside.
Right. Yeah, I remember my friend talking about that.
So there's other methods.
And there's withdrawals too.
Yeah. I mean, just think
it's actually it's amphetamine.
Yeah. It's just not meth.
Not meth, right? Yeah. It's made in a lab and not in someone's backyard.
Yeah, basically. But and even once you get off of the withdrawals, there's still a
lingering.
Yeah. Where you're not getting those endorphins released, where you're gonna feel like that setback, and a lot of people won't get over that until just go back to using it. But nowadays they have other medications that don't work that way.
Yeah.
To help you treat ADD and ADHD.
And I was actually placed on one called Concerta. This is when I was,
Concerta.
I think, a junior in high school. And I was of just the opinion that everyone was trying to fuck with me and, tell me I needed drugs to, exist as a person. And I was like, fuck you. I took it for, a week because they're like, just try it and it'll, And I was like, okay. And I took it for, a week. And then I was like, all right, fuck this shit. I threw it away.
Yeah, you should have sold it.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even know it. I was like, I could sell Adderall, but I didn't know what Concerta was.
Yeah.
And I was telling him, I don't want to get addicted. Don't give me fucking Adderall. And I'm like, all right, here's Concerta.
Yeah, I used to take Dexedrine, which is...
I've heard of that one as well.
Basically, it's Ritalin, basically.
Yeah, Ritalin. Right, that's the other big one. Ritalin and Adderall are the two main ones. But it's off-brands and shit.
But no, I've taken my fair share of uppers, definitely. Mm-hmm. But, so Adderall is a little more... So between Adderall and Ritalin, I would suggest Ritalin. Adderall is a little more... potent. I feel like it fires endorphins more, as opposed to Ritalin. I feel like it doesn't fire the endorphins in the same way, but you're still just as productive.
Do you feel drained after I don't know how long the time period lasts?
It depends if it's instant release or extended release. I would do extended release because then it's not here's 20 milligrams all at once. It's here's 20 milligrams and it's kind of spread out, and it's not just.
I've taken Adderall twice. One was with a girl. We went to a party. and like I was sick the next day, so I never like took it again. I don't know if it was related even, but I had this.
Did you drink a lot?
I had like a little bit to drink, like 3 or 4 drinks, like not a lot. Like I was buzzed and I had some Adderall. I think I smoked a little bit, and then like the next day I was just driving with the same girl. Actually, I was driving. We were going to the Kava bar actually, and like halfway there I pulled over and was like disoriented, didn't know where I was, and like threw up out of the side of the car. And I always like blame that in my head on the Adderall.
Yeah, that's never happened to me with Adderall.
Right, I don't know what it
Not
was.
to say that I can. Yeah.
That's never happened to me before or since. This like.
Which sounds like there's probably a connection.
It was like I was feeling sick and I was like, okay, let me get off Covell, and then like I just ended up in this like random turnoff. I don't even know where, and I'm in this parking lot, and also there were other people meeting us there, and like they got there and they realized we weren't coming, and it was this whole fucking event. But I had basically such a nightmare of fucking 16 hours, like not fun.
Yeah, sounds terrible.
Yeah, and then the other time was at this rave when like my friends like, here, take this. And, like I just felt like I was really focused. I didn't feel like I was having a great time. I was just like really focused on like this like head banging and like, you know, I don't know.
Yeah, but
really...
so take that focus, but now suddenly you have like something to do, like whether it's going to school or whether it's going to work. It's like, you know, for me it seems like my mind will fire off in like 25 different directions at once, right? But instead of so I take this medication instead of firing.
You still take it?
No. So I took it legally for I don't know 5 years, 6 years, and then I didn't take it for a long time, and then I would buy it illegally through the streets, you know,
right?
And didn't take it then. But no, I haven't taken any Adderall or Ritalin or Vyvanse.
I feel like for me, my attention is, it's either, like you said, firing in 15 directions at once, but like I have methods of controlling it which aren't productive. They just basically make me sane, you know? Like I'll just like, I can like reading, if I just pick up a book and I become invested in it, like there are certain, there are certain books that, or like certain activities where I know I can pour my whole attention to it and stay on it, and that kind of keeps me sane instead of just like, let me start this thing and then start another thing, you know? But like, so it's either...
That's one reason I like cooking so much. I'm sorry.
Right.
Go on.
No.
I get to do like 12 things at once.
Exactly.
You know, I'm like, I'm focused.
No,
I'm doing 12 things at once.
That's also why I like the line. It's just the line more than anything, specifically, just because, like, even if I'm like behind and fucking up, like I have to be focused, otherwise I'm gonna fuck up more. Yeah. You know, like it's like, oh, I'm behind, like I better really fucking focus. You know,
as opposed to like in the back, they'll like make 250 stuffed cremini mushrooms. Just like finding any reason I can to walk away and just do something else.
But yeah, I like the line. The line's cool. I think it's actually really helping me being alone in the mornings. Like, it's annoying, but and also like I'm having Gina, so like I'm not that bad. She's helping me with prep and stuff. But like I'm really like getting better at organizing the line and like moving around, just because I have no one to pick up the slack for me. Yeah, exactly.
Which has always been like a thing. It's what's that expression? Like sink or swim.
Right.
Like I've always been a person that going in that way. I'll swim. Like you know, just for whatever reasons. When it comes to cooking, that is.
I'm just waiting till like we're really fucked in the morning. I'm like I said, there was like one busy day, and that day we had Chef and Morgan helping us, so like it wasn't that terrible. But like sooner or later, one of these days is gonna come where like there's not gonna be help, and we're gonna be busier than even that day. Yeah. You know, we're moving indoors, and also the sun's going down earlier. Mornings are gonna get busier. Like when I started on the line,
the rain might deter that though.
You think so?
Yeah, because people can't play as much golf.
That's true.
Granted, some days they can't play golf at all. Other days they just can't use the carts. And a lot of times, if people can't use the cart and it's raining, they're not going to play golf.
So when I started El Macero, we had Johnny and Taylor on the line, and then Zach was hired right after. So there was a while, like up until the beginning of the pandemic, actually, where there were 4 people. You know, and so now we're at 1. We're not as busy as we were then, because we were running breakfast at that time, eggs and such, pancakes, French toast, all that. But we were very, very busy during that time. And I'm just imagining like, it's October. So in 3 months, we'll be at that time again. Hopefully we have another person on the line by then. We'll see.
Yeah, we also need, I guess we don't need a person at night.
Chris was great though. Like 11 to 7, he hit both. Like, I just had to do some prep in the morning, and then he would hit both like rushes basically. I don't know how fucked you guys were as soon as he left, but I mean, I guess now you really aren't having him, but
yeah. So I mean, it would vary.
You can't argue with that $19 an hour the UPS is paying, can you?
Yeah.
Or USPS. Oh, no, I think it's UPS. Then Taylor's USPS. Yeah. Post is off. It's hiring. I was telling Taylor or both of them, should run a little food truck out of the back of there. They already got a truck,
Right.
mod it out.
Just going around.
A little rice cooker or something. I don't know. A little stew pot.
Yeah.
You could do something. Hot plates.
Like a crock pot.
Yeah.
I gotta use the bathroom really quick.
Oh, for sure.
Thanks for listening. The goal is improvement, consistently and over time. Tyler Crowell out.